Hey guys, this is Carlos from Spark. We want to talk a little bit more about hip mobility and hip endurance. We've got a couple of videos out thus far, and we've been getting more questions about more people can do to get a little bit more open in the hips and a little bit stronger, so they can continue training, no pain, and progressing their game. So one of the movements we're going to do right now is a progression off of a previous video, and then two others will be pretty new, very specifically designed for multi-plane mobility and strength in the hips for the jiu-jitsu player. All right, so first exercise that we're going to do is a progression on a ballistic dynamic warm-up that we did previously. I'll show that reel right now, and we call it the world's greatest. Really, in physio terms, it's just a hip flexor stretch with a thoracic rotation. So we're going to set up the thing we did earlier, which was a push-up position, ballistic Spider-Man lunge, real simple. So in this one, we're going to take a static position and really concentrate on the trunk rotation to add both mobility at the hip and mobility at the trunk. Okay, so we're here, same idea. We're going to get this set up, and instead of kind of staying high, what I want to do is drop that back knee down and lift my chest up. So I'm kind of engaging my lats. Then I'm going to turn to look as high as I can to the ceiling and take this arm with me. Okay, having this hip up here locks the lower portion of my lumbar spine and my hips, so that the majority of the motion happens from my upper spine, my thoracic area. So we're going to do, I don't know, half a dozen of these, that kind of thing. It can be part of your own dynamic warm-up, or it can be resisted any number of ways with cables and bands. So that's a cool progression to that plank setup hip stretch. All right, guys, movement number 2 of this hip mobility series is our can opener. We need a heavy bit of resistance. So in this case, we've got an 18-kilogram bell. You can go heavier, but realizing that the resistance or assistance is the mobilizing force. As long as you set up the movement correctly, you're going to get a nice big stretch of the inside muscles of one leg and the flexor muscles of the other side. So we'll set up in half kneeling. I'm going to be here. My left knee is going to be down. My right is pointed out. The more perpendicular, the better. So if this leg is straight, I really want this knee and leg pointed to the side. And notice my belly button and my pelvis also should be pointing forward. You might have noticed, if I didn't pay attention, that leg drops in. So I want to keep pushing that out. I'm going to bring this behind me. This force is now mobilizing directly down towards the center of the earth. And so as long as I keep everything tall, I'm going to be stretching those muscles. So I'm going to go out to the side. And as I go this way, I feel that in my right inside of my leg and the left front of my left hip. So I'm going out again. And I might do a half a dozen of these, maintaining really strong posture, tucking my tail, and mobilizing out to the side. You can add weight. You can start with the foot a little bit further out. Any way you can progress, it's great. All going to translate to the mat because there's so many things that hip mobility really improve in our jiu-jitsu players. So go have fun with that one. All right, guys, move number 3 of this movement series is our single leg Romanian deadlift. So double leg RDLs are terrific for developing north and south power, hamstrings, glutes. It's all very important. But we like this not just as a strength move, but as a good mobility and control movement because it attacks the hip at every single plane. So we're going to use a good bit of resistance. And again, this is an 18-kilogram bell. You can use a dumbbell or plates if you like. So we're going to stand up. And I'm going to use my left leg as the driving force. And so my right hand is going to hold this bell. And the idea, my head, my hips, and my right foot are connected really, really straight. I'm not allowed to flex my hips without my foot going someplace. So I'm going to flex the hip. I'm going to reach back as far as I can with my right heel, getting basically parallel to the ground. And I'm not bending my knee too much, but I have a little bit of a bend in it. Most of that force is in my hamstring, but if I don't control this with my rotator muscles, I'll dip down or I'll lean to the other side. Okay, so that's the idea. Belly button, nose, all pointing down to the earth, and then back up. You can add rows to this. You can increase the weight, obviously. Many ways to progress it, but if you can control the hip in these planes, it's really going to translate to not just the mat, but everyday life and decreasing pain overall. All right, guys, so that's the 3 new movements, 1 progression and 2 brand new to you on some hip mobility as well as hip strength that's going to translate to the mat. Feel free to check out the channel. We're on YouTube and, of course, our previous Instagram posts, which I'll be putting out again. Comment, like the post, and feel free to ask questions. If we've got something specific that you want us to cover, we're happy to do it. Anything we can do to keep our brothers and sisters on the mats rolling hard. Those.